Welcome to the Decatur house, constructed in 1818 for naval hero Stephen Decatur and his wife. It's one of the oldest homes in Washington, D.C. Today it's a museum showcasing African American history, perhaps in an effort to distract tourists from the true nature of its grim past. Many visitors to the Decatur house often complain of severe stomach pain during and after their tour. Their abdominal muscles will cramp up, causing sharp jolts that have been so traumatic that a person will need to grab hold of nearby furniture in order to prevent from collapsing onto the floor. In most extreme cases, these unfortunate tourists rush to the bathroom and vomit. Or even worse, they'll discover signs of internal bleeding several days later after visiting the house. And they'll wonder, have I come down with a virus? Do I have food poisoning? And their doctors will have no adequate explanation for this phenomenon. The unexplainable stomach pain experienced is the paranormal result of the ghostly presence that the late Stephen Decatur holds over this property. You see, he died in a bedroom after suffering 2 days of excruciating agony from being shot in the abdomen during a duel with Commodore James Barron. Why would two U.S. naval leaders engage in a deadly duel, you ask? Well, 200 years ago, it was not uncommon for great men to settle their grievances in this manner. Our vice president, 16 years prior to this incident, was Adam Burr, and he had challenged the former Secretary of Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, who you may have heard of, to a duel in Secaucus, New Jersey, where Hamilton lost his life. And Decatur was determined Barron was determined that Decatur would lose his. After, for the role he played, stripping Barron of his command, resulting from a naval incident in 1807, in which James Barron, commanding the USS Chesapeake, when it was attacked by the British HMS Leopard, offered almost no resistance and surrendered. The British were after deserters and tried four sailors on the Chesapeake, hanging one and sentencing others to brutal punishment. The event was humiliating for the young United States, and as a result of his cowardice and poor leadership, Barron was stripped of duty for 5 years, and Stephen Decatur sat on the jury in the court-martial that convicted him. So in 1820, after years of bitterness, Barron tracked Decatur down and challenged him to a duel. Despite Decatur being in the right, James Barron shot his enemy right through the gut. Commodore Decatur was then rushed to his home, where doctors tried in vain to save the naval hero. And even after 3 attempts at sewing his wounds, Decatur's blood soaked through every set of bed sheets. It is said that Decatur shouted out at the time, "I didn't know that any man could suffer such pain." And it finally became too much for him to bear, and he succumbed to his wounds, sending his wife into uncontrollable hysterics and weeping until she had to be sedated. She never fully recovered from her husband's loss. Meanwhile, Decatur's ghost appeared almost immediately following his death. He was often seen gazing out the upstairs window, watching the street as if anticipating the arrival of Barron. The apparition appeared so often, in fact, that the window was eventually walled up. Others still catch a glimpse of him in the wee hours of the morning, leaving the back door with pistols in hand. Perhaps Decatur must relive that fateful duel over and over. Or it may be that each time he hopes he'll prevail and restore his honor and good name. One can only hope that, at least in death, the excruciating pain Stephen Decatur felt has dissipated.